My video for June the 7th, 2019 is video number 3109. The title is, "The Dark Agenda Has Always Been World Domination." Does the Bible give us clues regarding how the world got into the mess that seems so obvious to me and many others at this point in our history? The fallen angels, we were told, were liars from the beginning. My question is, the beginning of what? I do not believe any angels were created malevolent. Though there are many things I still cannot understand, the story told in those pages of so-called Holy Writ is one of mystery and paradox. Why would the Creator make a deal with the devil as told in the most ancient text in the Bible, the book of Job? Was creation altered when 1/3 of the angelic creation rebelled against God? Did the original Creator make man? Or are we a miscreation of the fallen ones? Of course, a miscreation is faulty, an abnormal anomaly. I know I am asking difficult questions, ones I wouldn't have even considered when I was younger. I look at the world now and it seems insane to me. Is the light agenda world liberation? I still hope so. I chuckle because I hope there's a light agenda. I've lived my whole life, as I've said over and over and over again in many videos. I have felt since I was not even quite in my actual teens, although it was double digits, I have felt that I was here on a mission to bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. As I've said in other videos, I preached my first sermon, public sermon, actually I preached on street corners before that, but my first public sermon was in Bethany Church on this corner of Summer Street and Broadway in Paterson, New Jersey, where they said I was going to be another Oral Roberts or Billy Graham. I mean, it was also, I received all sorts of accolades at the conclusion of that message, which was, we brought nothing into this world and it is certain we carry nothing out. But I did bring something into this world. I brought an idea that God is love. And I was taught that from the very beginning of my youth. My parents, as I've told other times in other videos, gave me to God before I was even conceived. And I was born 9 months and 4 days later. They didn't tell me that, though, till I was 18. But already it was obvious. So I have had an idea of being a man on a mission all my life. It's never been any other way. And I look at the world now, and I've considered things in recent years that I was blinded to throughout most of my life. I mean, I just didn't see how dishonorable and how cruelly lying has been exalted all over the planet on the political sphere. And while I'd like to believe, as many of my friends do, that Donald Trump is somehow going to change everything, Obama was going to bring us change too. In fact, all the politicians promise change we can believe in, promise to do things right, but they always end up doing things wrong, because what controls the world is the monetary system. And the monetary system has been run by malevolent beings, in case you haven't noticed. They do not want truth told. They do not want world peace. Peace just simply is not profitable. And we have to face the unfortunate and obvious fact that the world is insane. It's a mess, folks, in case you haven't noticed. The polarization is not decreasing. It's getting more and more obvious. Look what they did to the people in France that were having a peaceful demonstration. They blinded some of them. They actually killed uh, I think a couple of people actually died as a result of uh, but they were spraying in their faces, and the way they were treated by the police under orders from the French government. Is France bad? Well, no, no country is bad. Not not any country of any religion. They're not bad, but they have their own progression to go through. We all do. And the agenda of the dark forces is control of the entire world. So they purposely encourage immigration of those that are immigrating to places that they do not have common values. Their values are different. Now, they may be perfectly fine values in their natural home, because that they have a natural progression or evolution of consciousness in that locality. At least that's my perception. I might not be perfectly correct on all of that. I'm not perfectly correct, I'm sure, on a lot of things. I'm doing the best I can, which is all any of us can do. But I wonder, what kind of God would allow fallen angels to take over a world? Yet that does seem to be what happens. And as I said, Job is not just an ordinary book. Scholars tell us that it's probably the most ancient book in what we call the Holy Bible. Before Genesis and Exodus and the Pentateuch, the first 5 books, before those books were even written, Job was written. Job should be the first one in the Bible, not just before the Psalms, where it's located now, and after the Chronicles and Kings and all of those other historical treatises. But how much of our history even is accurate? Because again, it's always the winners that tell the story. And the winners tell it to favor their own agenda. And it's a dark agenda. It's an agenda of control. It's an agenda built on lies and misperception of reality. So how can we know that we're perceiving reality correctly? I keep coming back, and I know it sounds like a broken record to those of you that listen all the time. I keep coming back to love being the only answer. But what is love? Love is disinterested benevolence. In other words, you don't have an agenda behind you're not loving someone to get them on your side. You're telling them and showing them love as best you can without trying to coerce or force them into some kind of system that goes along with your idea of what is right. You allow them to develop according to their own experience of life. And that's what we all do. We all have an experience of life. It's not an illusion. We may be deluded, but it's not an illusion. Experience is always real. And we have to deal with the world that we're in. And while I'd like Donald Trump to drain the swamp, while I'd like the truth to be told and the criminals to face charges for treason, while I'd like to see those things happen, with the delays that can keep on coming for the RV, which is the currency revaluation, I just can't get my head around it. Well, I'd like to get my heart around it and love those that are playing the game. So many times they attack, even my friends oftentimes attack me as if I'm somehow, by seeking truth and looking for something that's actually real, that I create a gulf between them and myself. And this is not my desire. Anyway, I'd like the world to be liberated, but it can't happen until we know the truth that sets us free. Thank you for listening, and namaste.